Howdy folks, Doc here with Last Best Tool. And the other day I was at Home Depot and I saw these guys. They're DeWalt diagonal cutting pliers, but it says near flush cut. And I thought, near, huh? I wonder how near they are. Anyway, I talked to a salesman and they said, just take them home, try them out. If you don't like them, bring them back, no problem. Well, I'll probably do a video on them with some actual cutting, but there is no way these are flush cut. Look at that deep valley there, which got me thinking. You know, the flush cutting pliers, first of all, they tend to be expensive, especially the forged ones like this. Even in the Icon is about 30 bucks, which is a lot, and the snap-on goes way up from there. But it's a glorious tool, just wonderful. Now, a lot of times on the regular side cutters or diagonal cutters, there's a deep V or valley that runs right through it, which allows you to get this incredibly strong cutting blade, especially if it's like one of these vector edge style. Just once it's dialed in, it's just incredible how strong that is and what it can snip through. But what I was thinking was, well, what if I just took a regular old pair of pliers or pair of cutters, which you can find a dime a dozen, and basically ground the V flat, just like this. So you, on the inside, you know, there is obviously a taper right to that edge. That's how these things have to work. You can see right there, but it's only on one side. The other side, well, it could be flush. So I picked up a couple of pairs of these and thought maybe I'll experiment. I'll just grind it down and see what happens. So I got this pair. You know, these are next to nothing, and it turns out it has got a, you could almost read through that gap there. I didn't want two projects in one. This one needs a ton of help. But this one wasn't too bad when I looked at it. As far as I can tell, there is no name on this, or if it is, it's long gone. You can see nothing. It seems like a decent old pair of pliers, but what I did then was ground it. Actually, I didn't. I bludgeoned it with an angle grinder. I started looking at this thing thinking, that's going to be, you know, if I compare those two, that's a lot of metal to take off. And I thought, for a proof of concept, I'm just going to grind it down till I can get maybe a couple of spots that I think are maybe equivalent to the side cutters. So here's one. If you look at this, probably right in this area is good. This is bad, obviously, and then it gets progressively better towards this sweet spot and then backs off. But you can see, I mean, just look at how crude that is. I just threw a Diablo metal cutting blade on my Milwaukee angle grinder and went to town. I literally just clamped it down on a picnic table outside and ground it. I could do it a lot better. I was going to do it on a sanding disc and then maybe a belt sander, but I thought that's so much metal I'm going to have to grind down. So what I would probably do if I was going to do this again, which I may, is take it down with an angle grinder a ways and then start in a little bit sooner with a sanding belt. Smooth that out and then maybe buffing it out. Or I might start with a grinding wheel just to clear that up. But I have to watch what's going on, and that's where, believe it or not, as crude as this is, there is some precision as I'm moving back because I can see that line. The problem is, you know, I got a little frustrated. I wanted to make this a 5-minute job, and I think it turned into a 10-minute job, so hence the video title. But anyway, let's try this thing out. So first of all, this is what a standard kind of side cutter is like. I'm going to put a little tension on this and snip it. And you can see, you know, that's basically a knife edge. That is right there, ready to cut you. If I go a little closer, I'll use these snap-ons here, snip it off, and what do I have? Next to nothing. So let's try these. I'm going to go after that sweet spot. That's going to be right in here, so we'll line that up. As you can see, it's going to be about right here. Try to get that lined up Where's that? Right there. It just kind of disappears. So there it is. Let's see. Wow. Almost. There's just a touch there. See that little teeny weeny nib? Not probably enough to cut you. Here's the snap-on again. So barely. Let's try the icon. The icon sometimes outperforms the snap-on on this test. That's pretty dang close. Let's go back to these almost free ones. I'm just going to guess. I should probably mark that with a pen where that sweet spot is so I can aim at it. That one felt good. Look at that. If you can. Look at that. That is so close. Imagine if I put another 5 minutes into this, you know, what I'd have. So then I started thinking, you know, there are tons of these old kind of side cutters all over the place that, look at that, that's so good. Try to get that to focus in. See that? I mean, you're certainly not going to cut yourself. I guess I should break out the microscope. Whoops, go this way and try that. So close. Anyway, I thought there'd be a closet industry here, or maybe somebody's Etsy storefront where they just get these old things, find a way to kind of dial in the secret sauce to making these, you know, look a little bit better. But it doesn't have to be a perfect pair of pliers. All you need is to grind that down. So you've basically cut off half of the cutting jaw. That's also why they're kind of weak, you know, compared to something like that. You know, where you have the solid meat on both sides all the way down to the tip. And here you're shaving that way down. But then to be able to cut something, you know, that well, went down a little too far. Try it right there. To be able to produce something that has essentially, I would call this a flush cut. This is not even near a flush cut, but it would be very easy to just dial in a workflow and grind these things down and, you know, make some inexpensive flush cutting pliers. Make everybody happy. Because, you know, there's tons of these old ones. They don't have to do much. All they got to do is be ground. And you probably could, you know, work on the edge a little bit if you wanted. But then I maybe hit it with a buffing wheel and polish it up. There you go. Way better than $30 or, you know, whatever these are, pushing 80 probably. So there it is, the DIY 10-minute flush cut plier. Try it yourself. And with that, Doc out.